Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
And it feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light, when you hit that first joint, in the morning, and you.
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay, so you have a topic or a feeling or an incident or anything you'd like to start with?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that I moved here after my divorce. My divorce is final in May. And this is the first year that I'm sort of going through celebrating the anniversary of losing my son without his father present. So there's some sort of conflicting emotions there. I'm not quite sure how to place them or identify them even, because the relationship didn't end well. There was a lot of anger, animosity, resentment that, resulted from that situation. But then there's also this element of empathy and maybe even a variation of sympathy, because I do recognize how impactful this time period is for me. And I see how difficult it is for me to go through it on my own, knowing that the one person who could understand it the most is, not present in my life anymore.
And you said that losing your son, that happened 9 years ago?
Yes, 9 years ago on the 31st of this month. I was 27 weeks pregnant and he was stillborn.
Mm. And the feeling of empathy and sympathy that's towards the father, you're saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's a lot of a layering there in terms of how that relationship ended, and like I said, the sort of conflicting emotions of feeling glad to no longer be associated, but also feeling that there's not really anyone else that can truly feel the impact, the resonance of this anniversary.
Yeah.
Like he would.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in the language of parts, I kind of am hearing a handful of different parts, like the part that might have some, you said the divorce had a lot of animosity, so there's that just kind of pain or maybe anger towards that. There's the empathy for the father and what he would be dealing with, going through it alone as you are. There's the gladness of being separated and the sadness of being separated in this time where you could have someone to relate to about that. So of those, or of anything, is there one that you would say you'd like to get to know better or work with? One that might seem like it's coming to the front?
I think the empathy, it's sort of an overwhelming, almost a need to reach out and check to see if he's okay, even though that's not what I consciously or rationally want to do.
Yeah.
So that would be a good part to really work for.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Great. So when you're feeling that way, that need to reach out, where in your body would you say that sensation comes from? Where in or around your body? What does it feel like?
I would say about my stomach.
Okay.
Right below the opening of the rib cage.
Okay. And what's it like?
A tightening sensation. Like there needs to be a release. Almost if you stretched enough or moved enough that it would go away.
Okay. So see if you can just keep kind of focusing on that and turning towards it. And different people, experience this differently, where some will kind of more visualize it and others won't. And so my question is, does this feeling, does it have any kind of person features?
No, it feels more like a knotted ball.
Okay.
That's being twisted. And the more that it's twisted, the tighter it gets. Almost like a ball of rubber bands.
Okay. Can you see yourself, can you turn towards it, and can you see it kind of like it's in space with you, it's in, or even, in the room with you kind of sensation or anything like that?
Yes,
okay.
I can.
Great. And how would you say that you feel towards this part?
I feel that it needs to be removed. It's not cohesive with the overall design of what my life is. It feels like an intrusion of sorts.
That makes sense. All right.
It's almost like seeing a dirty kitchen and knowing that it needs to be cleaned up because the dirty kitchen gives the effect that the whole house is not kept.
Right. Okay. So that part of you that wants to see it removed, the part of you that experiences it as an intrusion, can you ask that part of yourself, to give us some space while we get to know and work with this knotted ball part, and just see how it reacts if you ask it for some space in this conversation?
It feels resistant, like it just needs to be gone. There's no need to understand it, because on a conscious level, I know that there are questions that will arise from untangling that ball, that won't have answers. There's not an opportunity to get answers or clarity.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, in that situation, one thing we can do is kind of let this part know, this part that wants to just get rid of it, that we're not necessarily, we're not going to be overwhelmed by the knotted up part. And that even if the knotted up part doesn't give us any information, well, the conversation will be short. We can do this in 10 minutes. So, just try to see what happens if you just let it know that you and I, we got this, and that we can take a look at this part without being overwhelmed by it.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I think I can handle that.
And just see how it reacts. Again, we're talking now to the part that wants to get rid of the knotted up ball, and just see how it
feels very much like someone standing looking on with cautious optimism.
Beautiful. I'll take it. That's great. We're optimistic, a little curious.
But almost braced for the worst, That seems to be the nature of the beast.
That's fine. That's we can thank it for that. We'll be able to. We can go as deep or as not deep as we want. You can put the brakes on this conversation at any point, and if it all feels really pointless, well, you'll be back to doing whatever, in no time. So.
Okay.
So if you can just now directing your energy to this knotted up ball part, try asking it, what does it want? What does it want you to know? Or what does it want you to know about it? And just wait for the answer.
Maybe that it's okay for me to still have a tether of emotion to him because of the traumatic experience that we shared, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's an emotional bond there.
Okay. So kind of it wants to have some bond there. Maybe. What else? Is there anything else it wants you to know? Just try asking it and just wait for the answer. Don't think of an answer.
It just feels like that it's okay.
Okay.
That all of it's just okay.
So it's telling you that the situation is okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So try asking it if the situation is okay, try asking it, what is it afraid will happen if it doesn't give you that sensation?
There's not really an answer.
Okay, that's fine. I was surprised when I heard that you said that the part was saying it's okay, because it seems like a part like that is trying to get your attention and it's causing you to feel not okay. So that's why I was wondering if there's more that it has to say about what is it want for you in causing this sensation? What's its intention?
Well, I mean, just I know that the not okay feeling is because I don't, the relationship ended. So if this event had not happened, there would be no lingering emotional tethers. So it feels wrong that there is one. That I do still have that empathy, that the spontaneous urge to reach out and be like, hey, I need to check on you.
Yeah. And so the urge to reach out, that's the knotted feeling?
I think just the general concern for his well-being is the knotted feeling.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Okay. Sorry if I'm going slow. I'm just trying to digest the...
No, by all means, take your time.
It's hard to know sometimes if we're talking one part or two or three or what's what. So, okay. So you have a concern for his well-being that causes a feeling of a knotted up part. And when you address that part, is it saying that it's okay? Or is there another part saying it's okay?
The knotted up part just feels like I'm not supposed to feel that.
Okay.
Like I'm not supposed to feel the empathy. I'm not supposed to care anymore.
Yeah.
But I can't resonate with that. Like, so it makes the knot worse because it's like there's a different part of me that says that it's a normal reaction to have. It's, with my education and understanding, it's a normal reaction to have because of the event that we experienced together. But that knotted up part says no.
Yeah. Okay.
This doesn't belong here.
Okay. So let's talk to that then. Let's ask that part. What is it afraid will happen if we let the feeling belong? What is it afraid will happen if we allow that that desire to reach out?
That I'll be conned again. I'm afraid if I reach out, if I let go, if I feel anything, I'll feel everything.
Right. So it sounds like its intention is to protect you from, or protect part of you from being overwhelmed, being conned, and being, overwhelmed with feeling everything. That's what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Okay. So see if you can let it know that makes sense to you. And to maybe even just show it some appreciation, even if that feeling doesn't feel great, that you appreciate that intention of wanting to keep you from being overwhelmed and keep you from being conned. And just see how it reacts if you let it know that.
It doesn't feel as tight. It's still there, but it doesn't feel like it's being twisted.
Yeah.
Like it's static.
Try asking if you could change this this part of you that can get conned, or this part of you that can get overwhelmed, if you could heal that so that it didn't have to worry about that, what other role or what other use of its energy would it like to do inside of you if it didn't have to work so hard on that? Just try asking that knotted up part that and see how it responds.
It could warn me of other things, more imperative things. It feels centrally located right now because it feels concentrated. But if it weren't there, it would be spread out and feel more effective as an entire defense mechanism instead of protecting this one thing.
Yeah. So I'd like to be freer and more like mobilized or less concentrated on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ask it how old it thinks you are and just wait for the answer.
12.
Ah. See how it reacts when you update it with your real age.
It's like it's not accepted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of stuck in the 12 years, and it's likely protecting, the thing we talked about, it protecting that ability to be conned and to be overwhelmed by feelings was probably something it had to start doing more of at that age. It's likely.
Yeah.
So again, see if you can just show it some appreciation and some compassion, some sympathy for having that job that it doesn't seem to want particularly, or it wants to be more fluid and available other places, and it's been looking out for this this pain for a while.
Yeah. It doesn't feel as tight still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still there.
Sure.
But it doesn't feel as heavy, I guess.
Mm-hmm. One thing you can do, if you want, is kind of when it talks about being less focused on that one spot and being able to kind of be more responsive and less concentrated, you can kind of play with that. You can kind of show it or let it show you what that would look like, and kind of in fantasy, kind of just go there with it and see what that would look like. You can kind of give it a menu of, oh yeah, we could do this together, we could do that together. You wouldn't have to be playing that part.
If it weren't so distracted focusing on the one, it could protect for the many.
Yeah. And
I can see that.
The deeper work, which I'm not suggesting we do today, is to then talk to that part that it's protecting. We're not going to dive into that. Try asking it what it needs from you in the future.
Space. Room to exist.
Yeah, because it was feeling like I'm guessing it was feeling like, because this other part of you wanted to just kind of eradicate it, like it was being ignored or pushed away.
Yeah.
Sometimes at this point, I kind of, depending on if you want to, you can kind of be more specific. You can, again, kind of, as much as you want, ask it, okay, what does that space look like? Give me some details, elaborate on it, and try to learn from it, to just kind of take some suggestions about what that space might look like, kind of what the next action would be if you're if you want to be actionable, I know that if I don't do that, sometimes I'll just kind of forget all about it. So up to you.
Right. No, it feels very much like it is something that exists, so therefore is valid. But it's funny, I've used the analogy of the Wii screen. If you ever played the Wii, the home screen on the Wii, there was a little space that had all the little me's, all the little avatars. Mm-hmm. My brain feels like it works a lot like that me screen, where there are these just different little pieces of me that take the podium, so to speak. And this one part of me that feels this empathy, this sort of, a tether. That's what it feels like, a tether to another human being that cannot be severed because of the experience. And that's where the tightness comes from, is feeling like that's not supposed to be there and I don't want it to be there anymore. So allowing it to be there, but being cognizant of the protection aspect of myself.
Yeah.
So in giving it the space that it needs, it feels like just that I need to surrender to it to some degree.
Yeah.
And allow it to just be, instead of trying to force it out, because the more that I try to force it out, the stronger that tightness feels.
Yeah. Yeah. And ideally, you find a way to work with it. And so you're not surrendering, it's changing its direction of its energy, or its concentration of its energy. And you're kind of able to put it to work in a way that works for both of you. And I do hear that other part that says this isn't supposed to be here, and to just remember that that's a part, that's an opinion of another part of you. And so I think that analogy of the many people is exactly what this process is about. And and to just recognize that there's you, and you're not a part. You're the one holding the controller, and you're the one, deciding. As much as we get wrapped up in the game and we get pulled around and pushed around by the parts, ultimately, we can lead them.
Right.
And so it might also be a good time to kind of that part that was standing by, cautious and optimistic, to just let it know or to show it that you can work with this other part and you can get valuable information from it, and that you could find ways to let it be without disrupting the rest of the system.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I see that, which is more than what I saw before we started this conversation. So it's definitely an improvement.
That's great.
It's something that I have been struggling with. This is a difficult transition in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going from being married to being single, to dealing with this sort of anniversary of this, what is to me one of the most impactful events of my entire life. And not, in addition to not having the father who was there, I sort of essentially lost an entire support system.
Absolutely.
So, having the ability to sort of resonate with this feeling that I've had for several weeks now, and identify it and give it a voice to speak and understand what part it plays in my life and how it is trying to guide and direct me, is very imperative.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, say that to your parts. Thank them. Thank them for being willing to play and being willing to share with you what their intentions are, and to just being able to talk with you is pretty cool. So show them
absolutely.
Show them that appreciation, And I don't have more questions for you. That's the whole process of getting to know a protector. Like I said, there's a much deeper type of work in which you would, after you've got to know these protectors and they've given you permission, then you would be able to work on that, kind of deeper hurt or yearning.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I am. It does take, repetitive process and work, continual work to help the different parts sort of work in harmony together.
Yeah, and you can do it on your own. I mean, I like doing it with people, but you can check in on this part. You can check in on any of your parts, but this one particularly, now that you've kind of cut that path and been able to relate to it, you can check in on it in your meditations. You can say hi. You can say how knotted are you feeling today, and kind of just ask it again what it needs from you, and see how you can compromise with it without surrendering necessarily.
That is a very fair point. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, well, anything else you'd like to share about any of that experience or anything, or we can call it a day?
No, I just did have a question because I am a psychologist by nature. You had mentioned not having licensure and not having, really a background in this. I was curious to know what your motivation was and what your goals were in developing this. Are you looking to provide sort of a not clinical, not counseling psychology to people who can't really afford to go through therapy?
I mean, I think the short answer is I just really believe in this model, and I want to learn it, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. I want to bring that to the world, to want to learn as much as I can.
Well, that is extremely admirable, and please, by all means, save my contact information if you would like to collaborate in the future. I'm definitely down. You absolutely know what you're dealing with here, and that's impressive for someone who's not been through a program or, to be licensed. It takes a lot of special characteristics of a human being in order to be able to facilitate the sort of process that you facilitated. So,
well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm always looking for collaboration, and yeah, as you can see, I'm doing this the not school way and the not official way, and so I'm always looking for any ideas. They're all welcome. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, by all means, please keep my contact information and reach out to me. I'm always available, open to collaboration. I definitely support what you're doing. I think it's a good thing. Like I said in the beginning, I think a lot of people my own mother has, a very limited perspective of psychology and how it impacts day-to-day life. And she can't see the things that she's dealing with. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, Mom, everyone has trauma. We all are broken. It's figuring out you're broken and how to deal with your broken that makes your life better. And you can only do that by therapy and talking about the things that you feel with people who have an objective observation of your life. So I'm very much supportive and very excited to participate in this experiment, if you will.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's an experiment. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, it was very nice to meet you, James. Let me know if you need anything further from me. I'm always here.
I will. It was wonderful talking with you. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Zikri, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.